Okay, and we are live. Hello, everybody. Hey, take a deep breath. So, here in Michigan, it is raining like crazy outside. So, it's a dreary day, but we are going to have a great conversation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm making sure that yes, we are streaming live beautifully. Good. All right. So I am still in my workout clothes because I
Hmm.
still haven't worked out yet today completely. Like I started arms, and then I was like, okay, I need to go ahead and get ready. But I didn't want to change out of my workout clothes because if I did that, then I knew that would be one more excuse for me not to work out. So I was like,
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm going to my workout clothes. And I feel like you got on a cute little workout shirt too.
Oh yeah, I have on a workout. I just finished working out, so I,
Yeah.
I literally just finished. Well, just got back from it.
Yeah.
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 Hmm.
How you feeling?
I feel good.
Yeah. You have a good
Hmm.
workout?
Yeah, the workout was good. We gonna leave that there. I didn't. I was nice. I didn't cuss or nothing. So yeah.
I I feel like you sparing the people on the story about the workout, but
I'm gonna be quiet. I'm just not gonna say nothing.
all right. So if you hop on here live, I see eyeballs. Please say hello. We would love to say hello to you. If you have any questions about what we're talking about today, pop them in the comments. If we see them, we will answer the questions at the end of our conversation. But I'm super excited to be here today. I done messed around and got notes. I got notes, y'all. So because I want we get to some of these topics, but I'm here today with my mentor, LaTara Venise.
Hmm.
And let's see, we've been working together. You've been my mentor for how since
Gosh, like 20,
2018,
like
2017.
2018, I think is when we started kind of working together. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So we've been working together for a while, and she has helped me walk my business through some different phases. And then we started working together in a different relationship with me
Hmm.
for, let's say, personal trainer, health coach,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
so that has been 2 years. We've been doing that together. two
Yep.
years
2 years
this,
this month.
yes, this month. So we decided to come on and talk about some of that. But I want to talk about both those relationships, right? The relationship of you being my mentor and that business piece, and then
Hmm.
also the coaching piece. But we're gonna start with you telling us a little bit about you and what you do.
Okay. Well, I'll be as brief as possible. I am LaTara Venise, and I am the CEO of the Color Your Soul company. And I always tell people we do three things, and we do these three things pretty good, I think. And that's help people to activate their vision, and help coaches to build whole and holistic businesses. And then we help you to learn how to build and launch profitable products and services.
Absolutely, yeah. And so I also want to say this. So this is the middle of the day at both of our homes, and
Mm-hmm.
for us, we homeschool. So I have children around here. My husband's office is over there. This is real life. And I know Latara has people at her house. So our businesses are about third, third or fourth. And my I will speak for myself. My business comes third or fourth in my life.
Yeah.
And so my family comes before my business. So if you see
Mm.
my family peeping in, then that's what you're gonna see because they come first for me before this.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
just so if y'all see my one of my people come by or hear one of my people, that's how this life rolls. So I'm
Mhm.
just gonna
Mhm.
say
Mhm. That's how it go.
that's how it goes for us. So color your soul business. So I guess this segues nicely into one of my questions about
Mhm.
your business.
Mhm.
Um, you mentioned Color Your Soul does those three things really well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is Color Your Soul a kingdom business or is it a Christian business? Tell me about
It's
that.
not a Christian business, it's a kingdom business.
What's the
It is where I work in partnership with God. I don't work for God. I don't work um under God. I work in partnership with him, and that's his desire, to be able to do this thing with us, right? Like, I don't take a vision any further than what he tells me to. I'm not saying I'm perfect, you know, but that really is just like, I want to work in partnership with what heaven has for me. And sometimes as a Christian business owner, we may have some of the worldly stuff kind of tied in, and I try to shift all the world out of how I run my business. And that doesn't mean there aren't things that occur in the business world that doesn't occur in my business. But, you know, my ethics and my integrity comes from a space of the kingdom and not from the space of the kingdom of the business world, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And so, and one of the things you do are walk people through making that transition in their business.
Mm-hmm,
That's
mm-hmm,
one of the big things that I say we've done together. Like you've coached me through walking through that transition.
mm-hmm,
So, what's the difference between like being, if I have a Christian business, that's awesome. I'm a Christian. I'm doing business. As a Christian, I'm trying to be good, do good things. What's the difference between led by, by being good and being led by Holy Spirit in your business?
Well, the difference is, if you led by Holy Spirit, then you're being led by what God has for you. There's, you can do good things, but not all good things are necessarily what God is desiring you for to do. All good things are, they're good, but it doesn't mean that's what God has for you, right? Um, I always give the example of how I market. It's good to market the way that we're taught to market. But for me, I had to do a little bit different. I had to go according to what the Holy Spirit is telling me to do, and it has worked, and it has grown my business since I shifted how I think about marketing, running my business, and how this thing looks in partnership with God, right? God doesn't want to control us. He wants relationship with us. He wants to partner with us, right? But God is the one who wrote our story. So why would I not hear the Holy Spirit? And it makes no sense to me. It baffles me to this day when I hear people say, well, what I'm doing is good, but is it God? And that's what we have to begin to understand. Just because it's good doesn't mean it's God, especially in that season.
Yeah, that's really good. For me, one of the things that is and again, it blows my mind and it's so good, is when we are doing things with God first,
Mm-hmm,
as a service provider, I can walk that out, and then
mm-hmm,
it's also for the good of the client,
mm-hmm,
right? It's because God knows what he has for me and God
mm-hmm,
knows what he has for my clients. So if I'm walking out what God has for me, delivering that service to the client, my client is also walking that out for themselves. They're trying to
mm-hmm,
walk that out for themselves, and it's in alignment. So when we get to those things that are kind of sticky and hard, we're talking about coaching, we know that it's what God has for them.
mm-hmm,
So it just kind of like empower. It gives you, like, I don't know. For me, it gives me the power to walk through those tough times because it's with God. It's not with,
mm-hmm,
like, not trying to make this up, not doing this by myself and in my own
mm-hmm,
power.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're going to pop back to that. But just speaking of walking through things as a client, and as we've been working together,
Mm-hmm.
as me as your personal trainer, I want to just talk about the last kind of some milestones that you've gone through in the last year. And the first one that comes to me is about body image.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
I, was 335 pounds when I started on my health and fitness journey, kind of strong, going after it. And so as I lost weight, I had a lot of body image things to walk through. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like during the last year, you've also walked through some body image issues um, with God. So can you
Mm-hmm.
talk a little bit about that?
You want me to be honest? You want me to be like, I mean, you want me to just tell, you want me to just tell it just like it is so that people can see
Yeah,
that God does talk to you and God does care about health and that,
yeah,
and that some of this is a supernatural experience,
yeah.
right?
We're gonna say the real things.
I'm just gonna be real here. That's all I know how to be.
Yeah,
I can say that it was it was like year before last when I kind of just admitted I have body image issues, right? And um, learning that and where they come from and different things like that, um, and it was last year as I think I threw on some clothes, whatever, and I had Brayhan take a picture and I said, I'm going to really share about my body image issues. And God had been talking to me. I think it was even before that. I told you about the walk around the curve and right.
yeah,
The walk around the curve. And I heard him say, I gave you that body. Don't be ashamed of it. I want people to know who you are completely whole, that I made you that way. Because I was tugging at my shirt trying to get it to, go hide my butt, which can never be hidden. I don't care what I wear. It cannot be hidden.
yeah,
And he was clear that I gave you that. I did that. And it was almost like he was saying, and I'm a proud papa that I did that.
mhm,
And and don't be ashamed of it. And so from that day on, I began working on it. And I took that picture that day and I talked about my body image issues, which I think really helped in me talking about, yeah, I have saggy skin. I was almost 400 pounds. It makes sense that I would have some saggy skin, right? And the funny thing is that at 400 pounds, my skin didn't really sag. Until I began to lose weight. And it didn't dawn on me. And I looked at my legs one day and I was like, well, where this? My legs was nice and firm. No, they were nice and fat. They were full of fat. And so as the fat left, I'm just going to be honest, right?
mhm,
Because
mhm,
that's how we begin to change. And so as the fat began to leave their skin there, that's
yeah,
like, what we going to do?
mhm,
What we get ready to do, right? As I began to develop these muscles in these arms and the fat began to leave, what we gonna do? What we
yeah,
gonna do? Right? This morning I actually put on Instagram a picture of me holding up my muscle with some of the stuff hanging. I said it's still hanging, but hey,
yeah,
right? It is what it is. And that meant what it also meant for me to accept the body image issues, and this is gonna step on some toes, was for me to admit you did this.
mhm.
You did this.
Yeah.
Right?
Consequence.
The consequences, right? There are consequences to the things that we do to damage ourselves.
Yeah,
There are consequences to that. You think about a person who's been on drugs for years. Some of them have heart issues or they have lung issues. They have all these issues because they did drugs for years. I ate for years and I
yeah,
was fat for years. And so the consequence has been, you're going to have some saggy skin,
yeah, yeah.
right?
That is so good. There are consequences for our actions. There's always a
Mm-hmm.
consequence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And overeating, if that was the thing, is a consequence. So you overeat, the consequence is extra weight, but there's forgiveness. What I
Yes,
mean? And
yes.
so and there's no condemnation.
Yeah. But
So I
here's the
think
thing, you can't forgive what you won't admit to. Does that
yeah,
make sense?
yes,
Right? You can't forgive what you won't admit to. And that's what it was for me. You can't forgive where it's like, yes, there was mess there. Yes, there was this. But I need to forgive myself for that because I could have stayed in condemnation,
yes,
which really was conviction. And if I would have stayed there, then it would have became condemnation. And so I had to walk through, you mentioned that forgiveness. I had to do that.
yes,
That was a part of that coming around that curve and him telling me, don't
yeah,
stop tugging at your shirt.
yeah. That's so good. Yeah. So I want to say hello. Hi Jada. Thank you for joining us. And hi Vita. Thank you so much for joining us. So there's a lot in that, right? There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot in there. And when we are in these cycles of overeating, of neglecting our bodies, of not moving, of poor self-talk,
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about body image, some people speak to themselves horribly. Like,
Yes.
they look in the mirror and they are, saying things like, I'm so fat, or I'm so ugly, or all of that just real toxic self-talk.
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
that is speaking against what God says.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So some of
Mm-hmm.
us have to, forgive ourselves for that language and have
Yeah.
our mind renewed there. Like,
Yeah.
we have to change the way we talk to ourselves to line up with what God says
Mm-hmm.
about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a whole bunch there. We could talk about
That's
that.
a whole other,
Yeah.
right? That's a whole other. You should
Whole
just give
thing.
them the link to the podcast and let them go listen to that podcast with me and AJ,
Yeah.
on forgiveness, because that's so important in this whole process. You're gonna have to do a lot of forgiving of yourself.
Yeah.
You may have to forgive people, right? Because some of us are fat because of how our parents fed us. I'm just going, right, because of how we were taught to eat, because of what we were taught to fall in love with.
Right.
You
Or how we
know,
were taught to handle our emotions.
how we were taught to handle our emotions. That's another thing, right? So, you know,
Yeah. And it's not even only, maybe you're not overweight.
mm-hmm,
Maybe you didn't gain weight, but your relationship with food is really unhealthy.
is really unhealthy.
And the
Yes.
way
Mm-hmm.
that the way that you are keeping your weight off is unhealthy. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Which, there's a lot there too. And it's about a healing relationship,
Mm-hmm.
being healed by God, and
Mm-hmm.
then walking in health in the kingdom way,
Mm-hmm.
which is led by God. So that's really cool. All right. So body image, one of the things I want to talk about. Second thing I have down here is submitting your movement to God. One thing that I love about working with you is you are consistent with your
Mm-hmm.
movement.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get there? How do you do it? Like, how do you do it?
I had just wrote this morning, like, I tend on Wednesdays, my share is always about health, right? Because I'm at the gym, and I always want to kind of have a conversation about my health and how things are changing. And, I realized that I'm not motivated or inspired to work out. I'm not motivated or inspired to show up for movement. I'm just not. Let me just lay that on out there. I don't get up and go, yes, it's a workout day. I don't do that because I know what's coming, and it's not always going to be fun. Now, I enjoy working out. Don't get me wrong. Once I'm in it, I enjoy it. It might hurt, it might whatever, but I'm not motivated or inspired to work out. I'm dedicated and I'm committed to changing who I am. All of me, right? I'm going to text my child in a minute. He started singing a little loud. But but I am committed. I stay consistent because of that commitment. I want to show up healthy. I want to show up and be as whole as I can be. And that takes a commitment. That ain't about inspiration. It's like motherhood. I'm not inspired to be a mama.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not motivated, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm committed and I'm dedicated to raising my children, be it that they're grown at this point. One girl graduate high school, he 18, you're be 19, but I'm dedicated and committed to seeing them be all that God has called them to be.
Yeah.
So it's the same with the movement, because God cares about us and our health. He wouldn't have gave us these joints to move and this heart that beats and this lung that breathes. He wouldn't have gave us all of that. We'd just been shells if it really didn't matter.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't have given us a specific diet to eat on.
Right. With all the choices.
With all the choices.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's still a specific diet.
Yeah.
Right? He wouldn't have given us all that if he didn't know our bodies would need those things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He wouldn't have given us clean air to breathe. If he didn't, we need to hear that. If he was just like, they're just going to be shells, they're going to be robots. We're not, we're people. So I just had to get to this place where it was just like, listen, girl, you ain't going to hardly ever be inspired. You might watch somebody and go, oh, I want to be, but that's just, you just look at an image. Inspiration just makes you feel good for a moment.
Yes. Yeah. So I would love to, if you're watching, let me know in the comments if you are committed to your fitness. If you are committed, let me know. Put fit in the comments if you're committed. And if you aren't sure yet, put a question mark. Because I would love to know if you're watching, if you are committed. If like right now you're walking in commitment, or if you're still walking in, I don't really know. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, be honest.
Yeah, and be honest. Absolutely. Be honest, because, LaTara had to get to a point where she was committed. Obviously, she wasn't always committed. So how did you get to the point where you were ready to be committed, or when you became committed? Like, how did you make that transition? Because you weren't always committed.
Girl, I have been on this roller coaster ride for years. I ain't on it no more. I've been on that roller coaster ride for years, and I would just, again, the reason why I stopped being motivated and inspired and started being period. Like, look, I told myself that's just not going to work. You just got to get up and go. Even when you don't want to do that, you got to get up and go. Right? Mm-hmm. It's just like sometimes when God tells us to do things, which is just a part of it too. For me, when God tells you to do things, sometimes you don't want to do it. Yes. But then I don't want to be like Jonah. I ain't trying to get swallowed up in no whale. Right. So I'm going to show up and do what I got to do, right? And then, I got tired of feeling like I was feeling. I don't understand how we can walk unhealthy, whether you fat, small, tall, short, whatever, and you feel bad.
Yes.
And then you keep doing it. That blows my mind. Eventually, one or two things are going to happen. You're going to either get tired of it and do something, are you gonna die?
Yeah.
One or two things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And it's not obviously it's not quick.
No, it's not quick.
It's a slow thing. Hey everybody, I see y'all in the comments. I appreciate you saying hello. What blows my mind about it, and this is for people who are kingdom, you have a purpose. That God is calling you to do things. And if you are neglecting your health, then how are you going to walk in that? Like, how are you going to walk fully in your purpose when your body is physically falling apart, when you don't have energy, and that I think is the thing. We have this idea of what health and fitness is supposed to look like. But we're not, so we think that's over here, but we are like, I'm giving everything to God. I'm walking in this, but I'm eating whatever I want, So they don't balance.
Yeah.
And it's because we're not getting our idea about health and fitness from God. Like we're keeping it separate. So if we live whole, then we get all of our ideas from God, and He cares about our health and fitness. And then we walk it out with Him in mind, with Him leading us, and it's going to align with where He has us. So it's not going to have to be a hustle and a grind. It's going to be consistency, and it's going to be diligence, but it's going to be in alignment with what He is saying.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's good. I
yeah.
love what Jada said. I'm treating my fitness like a side chick. And I talk to Teresa about this a lot, right? We talk about this type of stuff because, well, another reason why I stay consistent, because I pay you.
Right.
Listen,
Right.
I pay you, and I don't believe in wasting money, except on paparazzi jewelry. But I don't believe in wasting money.
Yes.
Not for something I'm like, this is an investment for me.
Yes.
Right. And so for me, and maybe for some of you listening, that's what you do. Pay somebody and you'll show up.
Yes.
Because I give you dollars, good
Yeah.
dollars. Right.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
because I give you that money, I need to show up. And you've heard me say this when you all sign up for some of my products and some of my services or workshops, don't not show up. You paid for this.
Right.
Right. And so that's bad stewarding.
Yes.
Because you got FOMO issues.
The stewardship issue.
Right.
It's a
You
stewardship
got
issue that
stewardship
shows
issues,
up.
but let's keep it real. You got I want to be where everybody else is issues too. And you got to work on that. It don't make no sense for you to be paying for something and you don't show up. So when she said, like, I don't, and I'm just saying it kind of hit me because I thought, well, my fitness, my health at this point in my life, that's like my main man.
Mm.
I wake up like, okay, drink your water. What this look like? I'm missing my happy coffee because my happy coffee that got my good stuff in it, my good. I ain't talking about nothing bad, y'all.
Ashwagandha. That's what we talk about.
There's ashwagandha and ginkgo biloba, and it's so good. It keeps helping you to keep a focus.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a routine now when it comes to health. I get up in the morning, I make my coffee. I know my sea moss gummies. I grab those. I pop those in my mouth. I get my other vitamins. There is a dedication and a commitment to it. It's like a marriage to me.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's what my health is at this point. It's like
mm-hmm.
a marriage to me. And so I have to pay attention to that marriage. For those of you who are married, you got to give your spouse time. Absolutely. And it takes effort. Mm-hmm. Right? To give that time to stay married. Listen, I've been there, done that. Mm-hmm. Right? So yeah. I get it. I got it. It takes effort and it takes time, and you have to be intentional about how you show up in your marriage. People be trying to tell me how I'm going to be married. Baby, I done been there. It's going to be different the next time, but I done been there. And it's the same thing with weight. I done been divorced from my health, good health. Yeah. And we got remarried. And we ain't going nowhere now because we've been consistent. My mind changed. And not just my mind, my heart. Well, okay. Your heart really is your mind anyway. Right. So my mind changed and it told my brain how to behave, and my brain told me how to move. Exactly. And that's an everyday thing. And I could always tell when we kind of on rocky ground. So I'd be like, oh, you bloated. How much bread did you eat this week? I'm sorry, body. Right? Mm-hmm. Girl, you went on a sugar rush this past weekend. That's why you feel like you do Monday morning. Wake up Monday morning, be like you hung over. Because my body ain't used to all of that. So now it responds to how I feed it. You gonna feed me good, girl? We gonna be awesome. Yes. You about to give me sugar for the next 3 days? Watch what I'm gonna do to you.
Right. That is good stuff. I know. Let me know in the comments, you guys, because I know some of y'all are at the point where you can recognize the what you've eaten and how you feel. Let me know, because I know some of you have had that connection, your body and what you eat and how you feel, right. How they're connected. My son, he's going to be 27. He was just telling me he's trying to eat healthier, and you know how it is. When they get old enough to buy, they got their own job, they buy their own food and all that stuff. He was saying he hadn't been eating McDonald's. And then he had it the other day. He was cracking me up because he said, I had it, and he said I was eating it, and my body was like, okay, is this what we're going to do? Is this what? Is this what we're doing?
I
Because we know we
mean,
haven't been eating like this.
yeah.
And he ate it, and he said there was a consequence. There
Mm-hmm.
was a consequence. His stomach
Mm-hmm.
didn't work. But once we stop putting that, I'm just gonna say it, garbage in
Junk. Mm-hmm.
our bodies are like, good. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
that. And then if
Mm-hmm.
we go back to it, our bodies are like, what? Wait, what we doing? I thought we were doing better. We
Mm-hmm.
don't. Our bodies don't want that. And
Mm-hmm.
so when we start to listen to our bodies and feed our bodies well, our bodies have more energy. Our
Yeah.
bodies move better.
Mm-hmm.
That's what our bodies want if we listen. But
Yeah.
that means we got to slow down and actually pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
And that, slowing down and paying attention for some people is a whole different issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So speaking about changing the way that we eat, I know one of the challenges that that we've done this year is we've cut back on grains. And first, so I already shared this with everybody, but I pray about all my clients, and the Holy Spirit was like, LaTara needs to cut back on grains. And I'm always talking about that. If everybody
Mm-hmm.
hears me talk, I'm always talking about it. So I knew she had heard me say that. And I was like, I don't know, God, I don't think she's gonna be interested in that. And that's kind of,
I haven't had oatmeal in almost a
putting
year,
it in.
so
I was putting it in. But LaTara came to me and said, we're telling people what you
I did. That's what the Holy Spirit told me. I was like, okay, one morning, because I was really having these bloat issues to a point where I thought something was really wrong with me. It's like, what is? I had to go to the doctor. Something got to be wrong with me because this bloat won't go away. Oh, my belly. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my belly. Right. And I just got quiet and I just wrote it. I wrote it. And I still have the journal somewhere where I wrote exactly what he said to me. And I went to Teresa and I said, listen, I'm supposed to cut back on grains and breads and different things like that. I'm supposed to cut back on these things. And she was like, oh my God, that's what the Holy Spirit told me. It was like almost to the exact point, everything I said to her. And and I cut back and I actually started on I did, what did I do? Like 30 days of like kind of a paleo type diet.
Yeah.
And just learning how to eat different. And I stuck to that for a while. I stuck to it for a while. Right. And I still don't eat as many grains. I can have brown rice in here now for months. Whereas before I had to buy it once a month because we were eating it with so many meals. Right.
Right.
And the one thing that I miss, I will tell you guys, I miss this so much. My Jiffy cornbread. I miss my Jiffy cornbread. I'm just gonna be honest. And we got a bunch of boxes up in the counter. I was like, I need to just get this away. I just throw it out because I haven't made cornbread in over a year. I don't make it anymore. I just don't. I tell my family I'd rather y'all go eat a cracker, but I'm not making this cornbread. Go eat some crackers with them beans. I had made some. Was it some spaghetti? Something I made, and my mama wanted to make cornbread. I said, for what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What you want to make that for? We don't even need it. You ain't had it in forever.
Yeah.
Well, I just make me some hot water cornbread. Well, do whatever you gonna do.
Right. Yeah.
But we ain't ready to pull that Jiffy down.
There's 2 points in that I really like. So the first is to know what foods your body doesn't respond well to.
Mm-hmm.
Corn, for a lot of people, is very inflammatory.
Yeah.
So check that out. If you need to pay attention to what you're eating. A lot of people will be like, I'm gonna eat corn chips. If corn chips are inflammatory for your body, then you eating corn chips and salsa instead of regular potato chips is not going to be any better. So that's number one. Understand what's inflammatory for your body. And then number 2, what you said was, I'd rather they have a cracker than cornbread. And for me, I can totally relate to that. And I will say why. For me, cornbread is a tempting thing.
Yes.
Like if you have cornbread in front of me, I'll be like, ooh,
I'm about to devour it. Yeah.
But if you eat crackers, I am unfazed by that. Like I don't care about crackers. So for me, another thing is to understand what is a tempting food for me. Right. And so if I have to choose between cornbread and crackers because my family wants one or the other, I'm going to get crackers. because
Mhm.
crackers can be, I can be around crackers and have it not be tempting for me. Same
Mhm.
thing with like potato chips. If my kids are like, they really want potato chips, I'm not going to not get that for them, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna get potato chips that I don't want.
Mhm.
You know, so for me, like if you have sour cream and cheddar potato chips, I'm like, I don't know, I might want them. But if you got
Mhm.
plain Lay's, I have no problem saying no. So that's what they're going to have, and they love that. They love
Yeah.
them. So that, so for people who still have to purchase those things, or they're choosing to purchase those things for their family, because you don't have to. But if you're choosing to purchase that, then try to get things that aren't going to be tempting for you.
Right.
That is,
Mhm. Mhm.
that aren't going to be tempting for you to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jada's saying that's dairy for me. Me and dairy are not friends.
Girl, me and dairy ain't friends either.
Yeah. And
Especially ice
it's
cream.
very inflammatory. We,
Yes.
you know,
Mhm.
dairy is very inflammatory.
Yeah.
You know, but we, I think, woo, this is the whole thing. But culture is like, cheese is good for you, and milk is good for you, and it's not good for everybody.
Body.
So to
Right.
understand what's not good for your body, and then make the choices
Mhm.
align with that, because it doesn't
Yeah.
do you any good to have this knowledge and then not walk in it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
You know, it's funny because I'm thinking about our conversation this morning. I went to the gym today, and my son last night had been sharing. He gets he has he's a brand ambassador for a company that sends him, you know, the products and different things like that. And so they sent him these protein bars, right? They was like white chocolate peanut butter. And I was like, oh, I want one of those tomorrow. So he gave me one after my workout, and I'm sitting there. He's like, "Oh, it's so good. It's crunchy." I said, "This don't taste like other protein bars. Oh, this is so good." So I told Teresa, I said, "Look," I said, "this is really good." And she said, "What did the nutrition facts say?" And they weren't bad. But then I saw the sugars, and I was like, "Added sugar." I said, "Hold up, what they put in here?" So I went to the ingredients. See, we think this stuff is automatically good because it says protein bar, right? I liked it because it didn't taste like all the other protein bars. I won't even buy protein bars because they all taste the same to me. It's like they still got that grit, that little, I don't want to be eating that type of stuff, right?
Mhm.
And so uh I looked at the ingredients, and it was sugar from the graham cracker, because they had a graham cracker kind of crust. Sugar from the graham cracker, high fructose corn syrup. I'm done right there
Yeah.
because I don't touch that, right? And then it had more sugar from the white chocolate coating. I
Yeah.
was so disappointed. I told Teresa, I said, I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. I was really hurt. I wanted to cry because I ate the bar, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Teresa sent me a picture of something. She said, "Have you tried these?" And I was like, "No, but I've seen them." And
Yeah.
I've noticed they had dates in them, which meant that's how it was sweetened. Dates are a very good natural sweetener,
Yeah.
right? Just put
Mhm.
that out there for some of y'all. Some of y'all, if you can't eat oatmeal, boil you some dates. Chop them up, boil the dates, and put them in the oatmeal. Baby, that is so good. It releases the sugars even better to get into the oatmeal. I put a little bit of the water in there because it's kind of thick and syrupy. So
Yeah.
good. So anyway,
Yeah.
what I had to do was realize, okay, I this stuff in here is no good for me, but wow, here's an alternative.
Mhm.
Here's an alternative because I know I can't have sugar. I need to eliminate it from. Listen, this is the hardest part. If Teresa, no, this
Yeah.
hard for me because I like red vines and jelly beans, and I'm like, well, they fat free, but they full of sugar, which makes me want to eat more. That's the danger of sugar. It's a drug. White sugar is a drug. And so it makes me want more. So, so then I start feeling like, who was that? Was that Chris Rock? No, not Chris Rock. Samuel L. Jones. Not that, that's not, yeah, that's who it is. Samuel Jackson. When he was in Jungle Fever and he was looking for them drugs, mama, mama. That's how I feel when I eat sugar. I want
Yeah.
more, want more, want more.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so you had to really learn how to be careful with that stuff. And that's something else I had to eliminate. Like, I cannot do this.
Right.
And I get tired of how it makes me feel. It's hard to do, but it's so necessary because I don't want to be Samuel L. Jackson in that movie no more.
Right. Yes.
You
No,
know?
we won't do that. Yeah. Yeah. Renee is saying sugar is her nemesis,
Yeah.
and it is our flesh has
Mm-hmm.
become accustomed to those things, and so we have to break a habit,
Right. Yeah.
and sugar does give us endorphin really and all those
Mm-hmm.
things that are just like what other drugs do to the body. So yeah,
Yeah.
we have to break those habits. So this is good. We flew by in time,
Yeah.
just flew by. So um, I guess I want to wrap up. So for me, for my business, coming out of kind of traditional health and fitness and leaning more to a kingdom way of doing things and being kingdom led in my business. Uh, I've learned so much working with you, LaTara. And one of the things right now is my business is shifting even more, and I've got
Mm-hmm.
a new program launching soon. And the thing that you're helping me right now with is just creating more structure. So
Mm-hmm.
as I continue to grow, that as my capacity increases,
Yeah.
there's the structure for that new growth and greater capacity. And you've got a program coming up soon that is going to walk people through that structure. Can you tell everybody about that?
Yeah, well, it's not really. It's more of a pro. It's you could call it a program, but you know me. Yeah, I like to be. I'm technical. I'm literal with some stuff. Literal. It's an intensive. It is a workshop, right? And it's designed for coaches, mentors, and strategists. But listen, if you feel like I just need to be there, then you need to be there. So what it is about is my whole life has been built around at this point in the game of my life and in soul care and taking care of myself and the healing part. It has been about structure, right? And I had to learn how to create a structure for every season of my life because seasons change, right? I'm in a season now, where I'm a caretaker, and it's getting even more where I have to caretake even more because my mom's memory is not as good as it was. So there are things I've had to take over, things I've had to do. I have another son who's basically been married almost a year, and they're getting ready to have a baby. And so, new babies, mamas and daddies be needing help sometimes. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And plus, I'm just gonna be a BB, and I'm gonna be all over the place with my Gianna. But anyway, right, Gary to be, and then my youngest son is graduating high school, and how does he navigate after really a good portion of his school years was a lot of trauma. So this is going to be a whole new flow for him, and I have this business that's flourishing and growing, and it's like, okay, LaTara, you gotta put your big girl panties on because some things you gotta do and you gotta get in order, and then I'm in a relationship, or we're long distance, or we're trying to figure it out and what it look like, how you gonna see. It's just so much going on. I could either wake up every day and be like, oops, whatever happens, happens, or I can be intentional. And I had to learn how to, especially in this season, how to set a schedule, how to have boundaries around my life. So when I set the schedule, that it flows well. It's a flexible schedule, but it's still a schedule. What do boundaries look like? What are my values and priorities in this season? What are my needs? All of that has to be taken into consideration when you are in whatever season you're in. And I always tell people, you can't steward the summer like you do the fall, and you can't steward the winter like you do the spring. They each have their own individual needs and care that we have to give into that season. But we can't steward it well if we're not intentional,
Yeah, yeah. I
right?
think so. I know people who are probably listening. They're like, "Oh, that's great." Yeah, I know that we need structure for our business. The thing that I want to let everybody understand is, yeah, you know how to put structure in your business, but are you walking healed in that structure? Because you can put structure in your business and then you're bound in that, and you're not healthy. The thing about that I love about LaTara is she walks her healing in everything she does. So just because she's got a new all these new things going on, that doesn't mean she's not walking in her healing still. You know what I mean? So she's not doing her soul care, not making sure that she journals when she needs to. She's still consistent with her workouts. She's still doing that stuff. So we walk into a new season, but we don't drop the soul care maintenance.
Right. I think that's the whole goal of structuring. The whole goal of structuring is so that it's about being whole. You can't be crippled and lame, right? And I've been sharing with you guys what God told me, and he showed me that too many of coaches, mentors, and strategists who call on the name of Jesus and say that I am a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ, bloom, 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 y'all cripple and y'all cripple and you lame and you walking people with you. Yeah. And so they cripple and lame. And so we have to show up whole. Doesn't mean perfect, but what does that look like for you? And it's going to change from that's a part of soul care. A part of soul care is learning how to structure properly the things that you must do. That's just it. Yeah. Right. And so that's why I'm doing this workshop. And in doing this workshop, we'll touch on some soul care. We're going to have to do that. That just is what it is.
But that's a part of your structure. Right. That is the part, that's the piece that is that's different. I mean, I've seen different coaching things. You know what I mean? That's the part that's different. That is built into how you walk it all out. And that's the piece that's not in every structuring thing. Yeah. It's a part of it.
It is. And
it's not a side chick. No, it's a part of marriage.
No, that's right. It's a part of your marriage. And soul care is not self-care. And soul care is not, this is going to hit somebody. It ain't self-love either. Because sometimes you can be so in love with yourself that you don't know how to love nobody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Because we have this soul care. We have it so muddled into self-care and self-love. That ain't it. That ain't it. Right. Because creating structure for me was not easy. Because I'm such a free spirit. Right. I love freedom. Yeah. I love freedom. But I also understand the importance of a structure, because a structure helps you to actually live in the freedom you want to have in your life.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's so good. And so, okay. So it's the whole and holistic intensive.
It's a whole and holistic intensive, and it is called Structuring for Your Season. Learning how to structure for your season. And it is a 3-hour workshop. Yes, I said 3 hours, because some of y'all wasn't gonna do nothing on Saturday, no way, but just sit on the couch and eat some bonbons and watch South African movies. Like y'all see, y'all know what I do, but I don't eat the bonbons, right? I sit and I watch movies, and that's a part of my structure. Guess what? That's a part of my structure, is to choose a day to just binge. On TV. But the more I set my structure, the more I see things that need to be done. Like now I need to like when I'm going to bed at night, I need to stop at a certain time, turn some music on, go and put my lavender oil going. So when I go in there, because I have a problem sleeping, when I go in there, my room, my atmosphere is set, and I've been sleeping better, right? But anyway, so some of y'all just need to be there, just period. You already know who you are. You already know who you are, right? Yeah. But anyway, we'll sit for 3 hours and we'll look at these things. Like soul care is about your values, your priorities, and your needs. Learning how to look at that and understand the importance of it, and then knowing how to structure it so that it matters, because your values, your priorities, and your needs matter.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's what this workshop will do. And when you leave, if you do the work, you will leave with a structure that is set, or you will be able to complete the work And I give you, we're even gonna have a 30-day follow-up group where you can come in and ask some questions and say, I'm stuck here. What does this look like? I'm trying to do this structuring, and I'm having a hard time because structuring is not about scheduling, but scheduling is a part of structuring. So everybody gonna be trying to schedule, and I'll be like, no, does that fit your needs? What does that look like? You know, even our goals, we should not be setting our goals without first understanding our values and our priorities.
Yes.
And our needs.
Yeah.
So that's when you set your goals, right? So this is the type of workshop that is, and I'm excited about it. So
yeah. So it's this Saturday, and where do people go to sign up?
I'm gonna give them the link. I'm gonna put the link into the group. Or into this here. Give me a second here. I was trying to find it earlier, but I got the yipping and yapping and talking.
Well, I was asking you all the
because
questions.
I don't want to say the domain, and it's because it's long and it just makes no sense to do that. I can't stand when people.
So put it in the comments. It's this Saturday from I don't want to say it's Eastern Standard Time. It's 11 to 2, I believe.
Mm-hmm. So it's 11 to 2 Eastern Standard. Mm-hmm. I just put the link in.
There it is.
So yes, and listen, it's only $100. Y'all know I have to tell folks the price. I don't like people to go get it like, oh, it's only $100, but it's 3 hours of intense training, and from someone who's been there, done that, and that's what I do in this season.
Then we get a Facebook group for
30 days, a month.
To help us walk through.
Yes.
So that's that's amazing. That just that extra little accountability, like
Yes.
And there are two things that just so you show up. This is important stuff. You show up. You make a monetary investment. You make a time investment. And then you get that extra 30 days to help you push through and, the accountability. And then you also then reap the benefits of those investments. So, sometimes I think we're hopping around looking for free stuff, but we're not making an investment. We need to make an investment so we can have a return on that investment.
Yeah. Oh, yes, most definitely. That's good. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
We could have talked about a whole bunch of these things.
A whole bunch.
But I always love talking to you. And you guys let us know in the comments if you were blessed by this conversation. And obviously, you can reach out to LaTara if you have any questions about the intensive Saturday. I'll be there, up in my game because some of my I have my capacity and I need to make sure that I'm showing up in the fullness of it. So I've definitely got some more work to do.
Bless God. Yes, Lord. Yes, you do.
Don't say nothing.
Yes, you do. Yeah, I'm gonna tell on you. You always making us work out. You want us to be so structured in how we show up with our workouts and our eating. I'm gonna tell on you. Yep, you got some work to do. That just is what it is. Thank you, Zenobia. I appreciate you. Zenobia said, one thing I know about participating in LaTara's programs or events, you will walk away with something tangible to build on. Always. Period. Point blank.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. All right. Well, thank you again so much, LaTara, for joining me. Everybody, thank you guys for joining us in the comments. We appreciate you, and we will see you all soon. All right.
Bye-bye, everybody.